Welcome back to another video, my people. And today, I had a little topic on my mind here last week and this week about. So, if you're of the age between 30 to 40, the 90s and 80s babies, in school, in public school at least, there was a program called the DARE program. This is more geared to around the time with the whole cocaine epidemic, supposedly, and various drugs, heroin, all that type of stuff. And basically, told was a program in the school where so-called public officials or people who were cared about the students or whatever, basically get a class on how drugs are bad, how can they negatively affect your life, how not to fall into peer pressure, yada yada yada, and then on and on and on, and to a point they still have some type of organization still here today. Now it's not considered the same thing, but funny part about it is the DARE program was created by government people, which has come about that the government was the ones dealing the drugs in the first place. So, probably around late 90s, early 2000s, children started being diagnosed with ADHD, attention deficit disorder, basically saying the kid is hyper, not able to pay attention in class, da 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 da. Basically, the counselors or the teachers related to the parents and or the doctors, and then the doctors end up prescribing the children these medicines, which are drugs, and basically these kids get hooked on these drugs, no older than 10 years old, okay, anywhere from second grade to 6th or 7th grade, they are get hooked on these drugs. Now these children are 35 years old or whatever, 30 years old, various points. I know several of these people who are absolutely dependent on these drugs, okay? And if they don't have the drug, then they are incompetent. They are not able to even operate as a fully functional human without having some type of breakdown or collapse. Now, these drugs could be Adderall, Ritalin, or whatever. I don't know all the medical terminologies. But basically, what happens is, as a child, I could have been considered as ADHD because I was not even far interested in what the bogus schools were having to say or supposedly teach and indoctrinate me with. So, of course, if you're not getting any information that is exciting to the children, any information that is intriguing to their brains, makes them think, makes them want to learn, then of course you're going to have attention deficit because they're not interested in what you're saying. So as a child, you're not used to the confinements of the walls, the four walls, the box, because as a child you have a free thinking mind. And now these people are trying to enforce these codes and these schemes and enforce you how to think, okay? What to think more specifically. And if you are a free thinker, you're not gonna do well in that school system. Now, and it traps you into the physical realm of things. You're not able to use your imagination when you go into the schoolhouse. That's why when you graduate with a box on your head, because you do not have the full encompassing circumference of knowledge that you should have. So you just get your little 1 degree or diploma, and basically, that's what happens with these medicines, because they deprive you of sleep. And what is sleep? Sleep is your ability to escape from the physical and go to the astral realm, the spirit realm, the dream world, whatever you want to call it. So it puts you in a position where your tunnel vision on this specific task, this matrix of a task, has you little to no free thinking for yourself, it trains you to be, you know, what's the word? Uh, a robot, basically. Okay, so you're basically becoming a robot. Because you have no thinking for yourself, no reasoning for yourself. Someone tells you to do something, you do it. You don't ask questions. You don't ask why. You know, you have no ability to question what someone is asking you. So that's the problem I have with the whole children being put on these medicines. Um, and I've seen that, you know, from various people, from classmates who just have nervous breakdowns, and even someone I knew growing up was just a-okay fine. Then by the time he got to eighth grade, middle school, and early high school, completely different person because his mom and his doctor, or whatever, has now got him on these drugs and these medicines, and you know, if he doesn't have his medicine that day, then he is not going to do well. So I just think that this whole medicines in the schools, and now they're enforcing these inoculations in some areas, in some states, for your children, which is a complete violation of all codes, standards, moralities, and basically, how can we prevent this from happening in the first place? For one, we gotta stop putting them into these fictitious schools. Okay, if you have not have a child and you plan to have a child, simple thing you can do: you don't sign a birth certificate, you don't sign a marriage certificate. Which those two things gives a lien on your future offspring and your children. Okay, that's first thing right there. If they're not in the system, they can't charge you with being truancy, or DHR come to your house or something. You know, if you're not on the books, if they are a free man from day one, no, we don't have that problem. And the parents need to be the first teacher. Okay, parents need to be the first teacher. Okay, second teacher is nature. They need to go out there and do things themselves. You know, people can tell you and explain all they want on how to do something, but if that person or that being doesn't go out and engage in that activity and see what's right, what's wrong, you know, you can talk all about the moon and sun, but if you never see it with your own eyes, then you cannot make a definite decision on how this atmosphere works. You know, if you can describe grass, but you don't know how to feel grass if you're not having your hand, not having your feet on it. So first and foremost, the parents have to be the teachers. Okay, the mother, the father, grandparents, uncles, aunts, they have to be the teacher. Nature has to be the teacher, and themselves have to be their own teacher. Because no one can really, you know, get into the person's mind, because they don't know how they necessarily think. Only that individual knows how they think and how they can perceive and how they perceive the world to be. That's why everyone is a world. But yeah, and it may come to a point where this whole inoculation thing, and children are being forced to wear diapers over their mouth and nose. You know, we may have the parents may have to come to collective agreement where we're just gonna pull all our children out of the schools, and that'll end in that, because they're not gonna come knocking on 2,000 homes doors in one school, because it's just not even feasible. It's not even simple as that. You just don't. There's a great portion of people just don't send their children to school. Capiche? But continue to be a free thinker. Continue to pursue your happiness and continue to be you. Hasta luego.